Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the Next Gen race at Talladega. It is the first of the free playoffs, and what an opening round it's going to be. 2.65 miles in length of flat-out racing. Banking in the turns, 33 degrees. Banking in the tri-oval, 16.5. And on the straights, it is 2 degrees. And I'd like to point out as well, we've got people saying 3 cautions were it in YouTube chat. I'm probably going to go 6. It's Dega after all, but we are here for the Stay Puft 80 here as well, sponsored by Jason Benson, who is sponsoring this evening's race. It's going to be very, very interesting indeed. The man alongside me will be Mr. Howie Burroughs, who's going to come into the booth and be with me for what plans to be an absolute banger of a NASCAR race, and it's one that we get to look forward to here as well. Don't forget, if you want to get involved with Triple Bypass, 5 nights racing, Sundays Next Gens, Tuesdays Late Models, Wednesdays Draft Queens, Thursdays Xfinity, Fridays Road Racing and Steering Stocks. Head over to triplebypassracing.com, where you can get yourself in the Discord and get yourself all involved. Now, this is the state of affairs going in at the moment. Now, you can see Carl Gretsch, he is going in with 2,004 points. This was going back to the wins in the regular season. He gets 2 extra points per win. And you can see everybody else: Ryan Hyatt, Matt Harmon, Al Corey, Carl Dewey, Jason Benson, John Campbell, Mark Herzog, Jeff Slaughter, John Crotchley and Michael Seymour are all 4 points back from that. So they did qualify for the finals, but they did not get a victory. So they do not get no bonus points. So Triple Bypass admin Matt Peruzzini has elected to remove himself from the final chase and will be running live race control during the final 3 playoff races. So looking forward to what plans on this one. Hey guys, let's have some fun. Who cares about points, says Mike Nichols. Probably quite a few people, Mike. Probably the ones in the playoffs. But let's bring him into the booth as well. Howie, welcome in.
Hello, and all I'll say about this round and where it is here is a 3-race playoff round that starts at Talladega. Last time I raced Talladega with these guys, I got beaten and bruised by the field. It was a pretty unforgiving affair, and now there's going to be 3 races to win it on the line for 11 drivers. I wouldn't want to be that. I'm happy I'm safe over here today.
Yeah, I think that's one of the things they've got to look out for, is basically making sure they get to the end. Now, the playoff drivers are marked in yellow on the timing score, on the timing tower on the left-hand side. So we've got Carl Gretsch, Herzog, Crutchley, Slaughter, Dewey, Corey, Hyatt. And then further down below the top 20 mark, Dewey, Corey, Hyatt is there as well. Michael Seymour is also the last one, but he's sitting in 23rd at this moment in time. So keep an eye out to see how they go. Now, we're going into a very interesting area of the season. We're going into the playoffs. We've got 80 laps. We've got a stage break at lap 30. How are we going to go into this? What's the mindset going to be for this opening round?
Well, Talladega is very much a game of where you are and what you do on the spot. There's not really a predefined game plan you can get to outplay the others. Qualifying is going to be super tight, and then from then you're playing with the pack the whole time, and you've got to just take it as it comes, I think. Don't get too aggressive. Don't try and wreck yourself early, but at the very end, are going to come off.
Yeah, you've got to remember, we're going into qualifying, and I think, to be honest with you, I don't really see any relevance of qualifying on for the for a super speedway. If we were going to like Martinsville, Bristol, some of the smaller tracks, I'd probably sit down and say qualifying was important, right? And you've got to make it interesting, and you've got to try and get to the front. But I've seen so much at Dega, so much, going wrong, that I think qualifying is probably kind of irrelevant on this one.
Well, you can definitely end up anywhere at any time, but it does sort of affect your average safety. I mean, I've been wrecked from the front and I've been wrecked from the back, but people at the front get to sort of dictate the pace of the race. They get to run their lines, and they are probably the ones least likely to get collected. Last time I raced super speedways here, I had a pretty good race at Daytona, and then Talladega was a waking nightmare for me. It was actually on this channel, me getting beaten around in the Xfinities. So I know what it's like to be all over the field here and to really get wrecked a couple times around. Format and stage rate, though, is going to change things quite a bit here.
Yes, it will. The stage break is going to add a little bit of spice to the whole situation. It's not something that's been run until this season. As well, so they will have 3 tyre changes, 50% fuel, 1 fast repair, 1 lucky dog will be on, so that will give them the option, obviously, if they get lapped and then a leading car and a lap down, they will be able to get their lap back. That's how it stands. It's almost running alongside full NASCAR rules in IRL, so I look forward to sitting back and enjoying this one. I think this is going to be a very, very interesting one indeed. If you could sit back and pick out a winner here, Howie, who would it be?
That is the most loaded question to ever throw at someone for a Talladega race. I just say maybe expect a surprise from outside of this top 11 in the playoffs. It really is a game where when the white flag comes out, it's absolutely anybody's game, and crazy things can happen.
2 wide, 3 wide, what do we reckon?
You can fit 3 cars wide on here. You don't want to do it as much in iRacing because the laws of netcode do apply, and we saw some madness last time the actual Cup Series came in. It was 3 wide the whole time. I'd probably see 2 cutting it free when someone gets desperate. We'll see it spread out a few times. But the temperament of this field will be set early, and then I think that the politics of the field will change as the race goes on, and you'll see how people start running their lines.
I think that's what's going to make it very, very interesting. Carl Gretsch out in front on a 53.4 at this moment in time. They're going to be very, very close together, guys. There's going to be barely any time whatsoever between most of these. It is a full flat circuit, no lifting whatsoever. You literally just go to aim to keep it on the racetrack. Tires minimal. Again, I don't think that's really going to be affected. They might change them once at stage, but they'll probably leave a set in the pits because I don't think they're going to really desperately need them here either. You're not putting, absolutely tons of strain on the turning of the car to be able to basically really warrant and affect the tires. But I think probably 1 tire change, Howie, maybe at the stage break.
I think when there's a caution, when you're taking that fuel, you probably will consider making that change. It really depends on how many cautions you get and how much time you spend around it. You are right in that they really, really don't matter all that much, but I see a lot of people, they take rights and take lefts and take rights and take lefts just to keep themselves topped up because you don't want to have a horrible balance and get thrown off. That's how I play it around here, at least.
Some do, excuse me, I just had a mouthful of drink at the moment. Howie, stopped talking, so I was not expecting that. No, I think, to be honest, I'm a very much, if I don't need to, I won't. And I think the likes of the Dega is one that you don't really need to. I also feel, sort of found out as I'm racing more and more NASCAR, is Martinsville is another circuit, although it's a smaller, considerably small circuit. It's not very heavy on the tyre wear because you're not dragging high speed, so it doesn't really affect tyres as such at Martinsville. So, it'd be playing it by ear here, seeing how these guys get on as well. Stage break, as I say, at lap 30. I expect a tyre change then. If it is within 3 laps of stage, so from lap 26 onwards, if there is a yellow flag, it will be called as stage, okay? So just to let you know, it will be called as stage. We're not going to stop it because we're not going to get it started again before stage kicks in. Qualifying has come to the end of this time, and we'll be able to bring you up the grid very, very shortly as well here. And we can have a look at that grid right now. So Steve McClendon is on pole position with Al Corey in second, Carl Gretsch down in third, Michael Seymour fourth, then Jeff Slaughter, Mark Herzog, Ward Fisher, Will Emmett, Ryan Hyatt, Carl Dewey, Jason Benson and Patrick Swisshelm round out the top 12. Matt Harmon in 13th, then Nathan Smith, Ben Arkham, Sean Bradley, Tex Nichols, Elton Wu, Mike Brown, John Crutchley rounding out the top 20, then Mike Weeder, Tim Crawford, Tyler Ruelas and Alex Goff rounding out the 24. Rick Barbary, Rick Ellison, Cameron Kane, and Angel Resendez and James Durr round out the top 29. So 29 cars on track. Can't be that dramatic, can it?
Sounds like 29 too many to get a safe race around here. This is where absolutely anything can happen, and it usually will. There's going to be an absolute caution fest, I reckon, especially given that I've had race control. They're not just replacing the automatic cautions, they're throwing more cautions in case iRacing doesn't catch them. If we're going to play the caution count, you know what? You say 6, I'm going to go 8.
8.
The pressures are going to be high. These cars are built for super speedways, and these points are going to really rack up. Maybe I'm crazy. Maybe I'm out of control. Maybe it's just 2 a.m. and I'm not in the right headspace for this. But we could also be here for a very long time.
No, I think we could be, but I don't think these guys really would want to be. We've seen, well, Howie, you know, you've been involved in races with them, and they're fairly clean where they need to be, and generally it's not too dramatic. I wouldn't be completely shocked if we end up going completely green, to be honest, and only the one stage break. Let's go the double O machine there as well. And as I have a look through the stand-ins, who actually is the double O? It's Alex Goff down in 23rd place, but we're going to get this up and running. Steve McClendon can be able to do that and get us going here as well. Pace car's going to peel in at the end of this lap. It does look like we're going to be directly green after the first lap here. No real drag on this one, but let's see how they get on. They're going to be coming into that line, going to be getting ready to go. And the pace car is going to do some weird left turn, and it does do very, very shortly indeed. But we're going to bring you up a trivia question very shortly as well to see if you can tell us the answer to the question as it goes along. The cars are going to come round the tri-oval. They will start going into the Geico restart zone very, very shortly. Here we go, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. Race 1 of the playoffs is green, green, green. Steve McClendon out in front of Ryan Carl Gretsch has got second place, tucked in right behind him as well. They've left Jeff Slaughter on the outside line, and this is where it's all going to play. The outside there as well. Jeff's just dived off the outside. He doesn't want to be a part of it out there. Michael Seymour is up there with Mark Herzog sitting in as well. 405, Will Emmett sitting in there. Good start from some Howie, but you saw how quick people dived off that top lane to get on the inside.
Find that interesting because at Talladega, it's often the middle that's actually faster as you come out of these corners. You get more momentum down the straight, but being in the middle with no line.
Howie? Hold on.
Oh, sorry. My apologies. We see one sort of middle line. It's usually a bit faster down the back straight, but didn't really form in much of the line. We'll see it maybe start to form up as it goes on, I think, as people eventually start building that draft momentum. I much prefer the top around here, to be honest. I much prefer getting that speed down the straight, but everybody did go with one mind, and when they go with one mind, bit of a hive mind train.
Yeah, absolutely, and I think it's going to be very, very interesting to see who plays what line, who plays the top, who plays the bottom. Well, Steve McClendon at the moment playing the bottom with Carl Gretsch tucked in behind him, Slaughter in behind that, Al Corey's in there, Mark Ward Fisher, Mark Herzog, all on that bottom line. You see we've got 2, 4, 6 cars pushing the top line through as well to see if they can get this line alongside. They're going to be utilising it. There's a pop-up from the bottom line. That's the number 3 of Ryan Hyatt. He's looking for a push to the front as well. And that's the only thing I find when you're running the outside line is on that one, Howie. Once they push you past the leader, you dive in and you leave them kind of strung up.
Very often, I still prefer that. I still prefer the momentum on that middle. We're starting to see now that that yellow car out front sort of jump in front of the lane.
I don't know if that's us having internet issues or if that's Howie having internet issues. I think
my push to talk button is problematic, and I will fix this next time you talk. I absolutely promise. I'm surprised that more people aren't jumping in front of this middle line and sort of building it more momentum. When I see a middle at Talladega that is sort of I can lead, I jump right in place and I just take it and I start leading it, because I prefer to always... I don't always like being behind someone that sort of wobbles around a little bit, to be honest.
I think as well, if you can take yourself off push to talk, Howie, that'd be great, because you do keep cutting in and out on us as well. So if you can just voice active, that would be absolutely amazing, rather than on push to talk, because it is not loving it at this moment in time. McClendon sitting in with Carl Gretsch right in behind him here as well. That is what Gretsch is currently looking at. I think it's very, very difficult indeed when you are following somebody. They want to stay as low as they possibly can. Gretsch is going to get a run here, but he's not going to go for it. He's going to bump once going into this tri-oval. He should then back away from him. If he can get him before he goes into turn 1 and bumps him again, which he is, and he did, then he's going to get him on the exit of 1, halfway down the back straight as well, before he goes into 3 and 4, and then basically have another go at him around the tri-oval. That's how it should work on the drafting, and that should be what the situation will be here as well. 2, 4, 6, 8 drivers out of the playoffs in the top 12 at the moment. Below them currently is John Crutchley, who's a little bit further down here as well. And unfortunately for Crutchley, he's right the way down in 28th place. Not a good start from him.
Good news, I fixed it. Good, my voice is coming through clear. Now, I'm actually shocked that these guys have lost the lead pack so much. They've already just completely dropped all the way back off the race, and they're gonna, a caution will be the only thing that will actually save them get them back into this. It's really uncommon to see people just disappear this quickly off the back of a pack at Talladega. Usually it means someone wasn't holding their line right, and as I can see around the front, these lines are certainly not being held. They're squabbling with each other, and they've very much lost their chance to attack for now. But the reset, even if everyone keeps it green this race, the reset is guaranteed. So they just need to, you know, rethink and hopefully do it better next time.
Yeah, I think they need to really just tuck in a single line from Anger Resendez back with Crawford, Kane, Dirk, Brown. You just tuck in and see how you get on. There's Barbary in front of these cars in the 04. They literally just need to one line all of them at this moment in time, and they will start making waves going forward, as you can see here with McClendon, Gretsch, Slaughter, Corey. But even then, there's a gap appearing once more as we start getting down from, where is it, Matt Harmon down to Kyle Dewey. There's another gap appearing as well, Howie. We don't generally have 3 packs going around Dega.
Never seen it happen this quickly. There seems to be quite a bit of chaos and disorder in these lines. It seems as if people are probably trying to follow the line, but if you're even just a little bit off, or you maybe check up a bit too much to try and avoid hitting the back of someone, or you get into any one of these little mistakes, you disappear, and then as it sort of is a self-fulfilling prophecy, you drop back and then back and then back and then back, and you're off. Looks like they've just about made it in range, but I'm seeing so much more like fighting and moving around that I'm even used to these guys doing here. I've never quite seen the lines move as much as this, and it really starts to make me a little bit worried.
Yeah, I think at times, to be blatantly honest, and I don't mean this in any disrespect, I think some of these lines are quite random, that what is going on. There is a lot of shifting around. It's like they're actually struggling to find the line that they're trying to get here. You can see they're still right in sync as they're coming round. They're all a little bit iggly-piggly, to be bluntly honest with you. And I think they need to kind of start trying to correct it as best they can, because otherwise they're going to be all over the place. And we're going to have pack split across the racetrack. The bottom pack from Resendez, they're 8.5 seconds back. I'm not quite sure why they're not in one line. I think I think in pack racing that far away, get it in a line and start following each other, because this what we're looking at here is not going to work. They will end up completely losing and going back out 10 seconds or so, Howie. I think this effect that we've got going on isn't going to cut it at the moment.
It's a bit like how birds and fish sort of follow each other in flocks when they're not really communicating. They're following their own rules in their head, and if everyone does it, it sort of works. And in this sort of situation, if the guy in front is a bit wobbly, the guy behind is going to be a bit wobbly to be compensating, and that's just going to cascade all the way down the pack, and one or two people at the front who can't quite hold the line make the whole thing sort of become a little bit chaotic. There's much less order going on over here, and that's just the nature of the pack racing here. But I am seeing just a lot of lateral movement all over the shop. These cars are sort of built for these tracks more than anything else. We already see a wreck. That's the number 5 of Wu turned around.
Oh, that was going on up the road. How did that one take shape?
No, it was a different... Someone else. It was the 05. I forgot that we're allowed O's in the field. It was a different
James
car entirely. James Durr.
Let's go back and see. It's so weird. You're so far back from the lead pack. I don't feel 05 come up, unfortunately, and then got into him.
I don't think it's worth the 91 of Ellison even trying to stick it around the outside there, to be honest, at that stage, because, you know, you're already back off the pack. What are you going to get other than slowing down the second you pull alongside? I often end up in tangles with Dua. I'll be honest, though, when we race, it's me and Dua who are like the most frequently likely. I think it happened 3 times at Nashville. But in that case, I don't know why you don't just stick with the guy for a little bit longer. You're clear that the guy behind had a lot more pace and he sort of wanted to get something moving, but it was going to end in a little bit of disorder, and that is the first of the night. If we keep going at this rate, it could be 8. I'll just say that.
Charles Culliman, welcome in there, bud. Just said in my head I sent a crash. Yeah, I know. The weirdest thing is they were so far back from the pack that, you know, I don't know if... It's really difficult because obviously, you know, sitting here and watching multiple hours of NASCAR racing on iRacing, and obviously I sit and watch it on TV as well. You know, it's hard to watch when people aren't doing what you in your head would like them to do. One of the things I would have liked them all to do to all at the back is all 7 of them just literally line it up, go in a line, run round the shortest way, which is round the bottom, and stick it out. That for me was clumsy. Howie, that pack causing a yellow was clumsy.
Well, I mean, if you drop off the field like that once, what's to stop you from doing it again? That's the only worry. They're going to get a chance to restructure and rethink here, as a lot of drivers here not taking the tyres. I saw someone just reverse into their booth and miss it at that stage, but I'm not going to see too much of a shake-up of the field as drivers just taking a bit of fuel, but we are going to see some of these drivers get another shot at it, basically, over and over again. I think in this case, with a little bit more time on the field, some of these guys are going to follow the line a little bit more and more each time. It seemed like the sort of wreck that was avoidable but was a learning experience. But we'll see what they do next time. It's always just like, if it's, you know, the scene from The Simpsons where the guy just keeps walking to the rake. Sometimes Talladega's like that. So we're not quite. Let's hoping that we get a great field for the next one.
Yeah, we'll see how they get on. We've got Smith, Barbary, Brown, Ellison and Dua in the pit lane. Dua and Ellison have been in for over 2.5 minutes. That is not the best way to park your car. I'd like to point out as well, Ricky Barbary having it across the nose of someone else, but they are all sat in pit lane. Carl Gretsch did not go in. Patrick Swisselm did not go in. And Tyler Ruelas did not go in. And to be honest, I don't think they would have needed to, unless they're going to be struggling on fuel, 50% fuel here. Howie, can they get to stage 30 on the fuel?
I don't have exact numbers, but maybe they just think another wreck will come out as well, and it's a safe place to be. You do save fuel under this caution period, so even if you don't stop, you just sort of roll it through to that stage break, and then get away with it. That can work in this situation. Maybe they just want to be in a safe place. If you drop off the pack early and you're like, no, I want to be up front this time and I want to be in control of the tempo, whoever leads the pack gets to decide how it goes, as Kyle Gretsch actually does make his pit stop. Now that will leave Patrick Swisshelm to lead the pack.
Tyler Ruella's tucked in right behind him. I think Gretsch may have had a change of heart on that one and decided, actually, I'm probably better off going in here with this situation. But Swisshelm out in front and Tyler Ruella's in behind. 13 of 80. Not too bad. First caution on lap 13. I still think 6 is the way to go. Let us know if you've got any more predictions in YouTube chat of how many cautions you think it will be. You still sticking with 8, Howie?
Well, while we're here, I'll just say that one of my biggest regrets in my entire iRacing career was not sponsoring the Xfinity race around Kern County. We did it quite early in the season. I only say that because do you want to guess how many cautions we had to go through at Kern County? We had 17, and watching you stay up to commentate that would have made my absolute life. Probably won't hit 17 around here. That was a particularly nightmarish day, but these guys can go short on cautions, they can go green, or they can have a very, very long night. I don't know which it will be quite yet. Maybe 8's overcooking, but I think 6 is undercooking. I'll lock in on 7 just because I want to double down.
Okay, well, we'll see what goes on here. I still think there's only going to be 6, to be honest with you. I think this is the first one. And then after the stage break will be number 2. Obviously, it's not a forced break. It's on that one. And then I think after that, it might get a little bit calamitous towards the back end. But we'll see how it goes here and see what happens once more. We are going to get this back up and running. Gretsch is still running, but he's all the way down in 26. You just see him in the top right hand corner picking it, getting back onto the pack. So that's what he has done here, and getting ready to go. Pace car's going to do that weird pulling in as it normally does do, and then we're going to get up and running once more. Ready to go here at Talladega once more. The car's going to be coming in to the back room, back at the shop very, very shortly. And they're going to get this up and running into the Geico restart zone. They're going to go, ladies and gentlemen, once more. We are back up and running, and it is green, green, green. Swisshelm and Ruella's. Ruella's got to be a little bit careful there on the overtaking. Just after the line, he's got to be a little bit smart on that one. But it is Ruella's, Swisshelm, Herzog, Corey Slaughter leading the top 5 here. Howie as well. Easily done on the restart, getting yourself a penalty. I
think Ruella's may have been P1. No, it would have been Swisshelm. I'm amazed he did get away with that. And I was worried that he was going to not get away with that because with that start, just in part because he'd sort of leave the pack. He looked like he was out of line and going to get dropped back. As I say that, he is dropping back out. Corey leads the outside line with massive momentum. And now these guys' momentum's all being gummed up by the 714. He's swinging wildly from side to side. And how Corey is just running away with it alongside McLendon, Dewey, and Bradley. So that was a very quick change of fortune. I think these guys knew exactly how to run this start, and all this going 3 wide behind, I just don't see any momentum building up right now.
I'm so lost. Normally, I sit here and commend every one of these drivers. They do a fantastic job, and they drive impeccably, but over the first 15, I've not been overly impressed with some of the dramatics at this moment in time. And it's good for Carl Dewey and Sean Bradley that they've just kind of escaped with Ben Harcombe, Al Corey Elton Wu alongside each other, Steve McClendon, Cameron Kane in there, fighting it out in there. Whoa! Somebody else has gone round. Sure, yeah, Tyler Ruella's may have been involved in that. But there was at the bottom, at the base there, that is, who is that down there with him? Ryan Hyatt. No caution called for Ryan Hyatt. And as we know as well, once you're off the draft, it's very difficult to get back on.
Yeah, he should consider himself lucky that's not a race ender like it's been for some of these drivers that have retired in the pit lane, but still he's going to need to wait for a caution. Now, you can talk about the drivers that didn't do terribly well in these starts, but you can also see who's made their way to the front. And right at the front now, we're seeing the exact sort of driving that you expect. How did those 4 drivers just immediately just punch their way through that field as an act, just like parting the seas? It was because they do know how to form a line, and we can see the 2 lines now running side by side at the front as God intended.
Yeah, absolutely, as they should be running here as well. I'm just going to bring in the RC for today, Mr. Matt Perezzini, who's going to explain the fact that Tyler Ruelas has got a violation penalty. Am I presuming here, Matt, that was for his start procedure?
That is correct, because in this series we do have iRacing restart zones enabled. He jumped the start, therefore he was issued a black flag.
Was that jumping the start in the Geico restart zone, or are we using the line as the start line?
No, he jumped before the leader went, and with the restart zones enabled, you have to not jump before the leader. The leader has to start the race, so therefore he started too early. He gets a penalty. He has to do a drive-through.
Oh, Matt, fast and fierce off the hook there as well. Anything other dramatic that you've had to deal with, Matt, throughout this? Everything else looks a little bit, looks clean, but you know, apart from some of the driving's a little bit jigsawy on a table at the moment. They're very iggly-piggly across the racetrack.
Yeah, the guys are, you know, the drafting isn't as tight as I think that it needs to be. I mean, and towards the end of the race, you're not going to want to be very far off the guy's bumper in front of you to get the maximum runs. I think the guys are just feeling it out right now and stuff, but I'll be honest with you, playoff drivers, stage is coming up here in about 13 laps. You better get up to the front and get stage points, because there are stage points in the playoffs as well, and those are going to make a big deal in the playoff for the playoff drivers.
All right, Matt, let me just ask you a quick question. How many cautions do you reckon we're going to have?
Well, I'm hoping with the stage, I'm kind of hoping we only have 1 or 2 more, but it's going to depend on how aggressive these guys are going to get. Right now, it's looking pretty tame, but you never know.
So basically, you didn't give me a number, Matt. You just sat on the fence and got splinters in your bum.
Well, basically, I mean, I have to watch the race too and make sure, because right now I'm watching and getting a couple little goofy bumps there. So we could get a caution here pretty quick if they start bumping like that.
All right, man. Take care, Matt. I'll catch up with you a little bit later.
Yeah, you bet. Have a good one, guys.
And you, man, bye. Well, there you go, Matt Perezzini, live RC 160. Tyler Ruelas violating start line procedures already. We did kind of call it there, Howie, and, well, he's had to do a drive-through.
The restart zone rules are so much more complex in iRacing. It actually tracks your exact speed as you're in the zone, and then the leader's allowed to see that speed limit at the right point, and the guy behind has to wait until the leader's done that. And my first time leading a restart zone, I was over that speed limit by about 20 miles an hour. So it's a little something to relearn, and this is the only series that uses it. So definitely easy to get thrown off your game if you're not ready for it, given that triple bypass runs the classic rules every other day of the week.
Yeah, I think most people will basically look at it now, and I know as officials that you have to be 60 miles an hour or something going on that line. There's a massive run from Carl Gretsch on the outside. He is pushing, trying to go 3 wide. He is literally nose to tail with Steve McClendon, the 151 on that high side. We've got these 3 lines developing now as well. The 84 of Ward Fisher trying to get in behind Gretsch. Is Gretsch going to leave McClendon high and dry, though? That's going to be the problem. Them 3 boys, they need to be closer. You all need to be closer. You need to be Carl Gretsch, Steve McClendon close. You don't need to be Gretsch and Fisher close. That as well. They've got to be tighter, Howie. They've got to be tighter to make that draft effective.
I'm surprised they're trying it, given how far off the bottom the middle lane's running. There's really a lot of space to run it right next to that 88 car and right next to that 6 car. Instead, they're weaving up above their lane towards the wall, and if I'm seeing that, I'm wondering, do I want to be the one that potentially gets sandwiched against the wall here? They've held it together remarkably well. I always have to remember this is a video game, and this is nothing quite as organised as TV, and when it comes to the control chaos, it is controlling herself relatively well, but I'm just seeing the way the middle line sort of washes up on all the straights, and I'm thinking I wouldn't send it there myself. I think now the 51 sort of knows that this is fruitless, but now there's no more space to really jump down. He's going to have to wait until he's wildly clear, and that might not happen. You're not really in control of your own destiny all of the time.
No, but McClellan's got a good pushing partner in one that knows what he's doing behind him. Gretsch there has pushed him pretty much to the front now. He then releases him into the corner. He's going to catch him again on that exit. He'll probably give him another push on that try. There we go. There's one more to give him a shove. Then he'll let him go through the tri-oval and stay away from the back end of him. And then he'll give him a push again. Just going into the corner once more. Quick trivia question. Do you know why the start line, Howie, is not where a traditional start line for an oval is?
It was to sell more seats in a new grandstand, wasn't it?
Mm-hmm. It was. Yep.
Classic Bill France. The other story from Talladega's creation is his drivers thought it was unsafe, so he drove his own car around like 80 miles an hour around the track and then insisted that they all should do it as a result. They all boycotted that first race, I believe.
Yeah, it was. The start line was to sell more tickets for the stands that they were in there as well. So they moved it down towards the middle. That high line has been stopped about now. There was a big block come up from Sean Bradley, and I expect them all to start peeling down, I would have thought, but no, they didn't. They've left Bradley high and dry in the middle. He's going to get run over like roadkill at this moment in time as Bradley, and he's just going to go and plummet down the order from being strung out from that high line. He thought the high line would come down with him, and well, they did not. They literally left him out there and they just carried on the high line run. Textbook prediction gone wrong for Bradley.
People will work with you if they trust you, but if they don't trust you, the quickest way to find out is to try and run a line of your own, as the 160 here isn't on the apron, returning to the track, and that's actually going to cause the wreck here. I can see contact causing that car right in the middle. It's swinging everywhere. It's time for the James Parfitt weekly rant about blue flags.
Do you know what, Howie? If we were on road racing, I would happily, but on NASCAR,
cars in general, like
I can't. You can't give NASCAR the blue flag situation. I will say for Tyler Ruelas though, you do need to get up to speed a little bit quicker than what you did on that one, but as we know, blue flags in NASCAR is a difficult scenario, especially with the fact that obviously we've got lucky dogs and wave around and all sorts of things that could go on. So yeah, but I will say for Tyler Ruelas, he does need to come back on the track a lot quicker than what he did. Let's have a look back. Keep an eye on the 160. That's probably where mainly it kicked off from.
This time I'm identifying Elton Wu correctly, as he is just the 5. I think he's the one that got tagged, and then you lose control of your car at this speed, and then God basically decides where you go from there.
He should have gone high. In an ideal world, he was stuck between a rock and a higher place, due to the fact that obviously he couldn't go high because that high line wanted to run there. He was trying to go low. He was kind of stuck between a rock and a hard place. I think that's the thing.
Interestingly, watching that now and actually seeing, I thought he was tagged by the 00 car, and he wasn't at all.
No.
Wu got into the car in front checking up, and then the 333 came into the back of him, and then it was all over from that point. I thought Tyler Ruelas maybe jumped in so slowly that he tagged someone, but actually he got into place, and the cars behind all just cascaded out of control. They didn't know how to deal with the situation. I think they could have dealt with that situation, to be totally honest, now seeing it again.
Yeah, I think they needed just to run off him and go up high on him and you know, run the middle line. The middle line was blatantly empty, and I think he could have quite happily done that. Why we've got 2 minutes.
Lucky dog.
Yeah,
just saw him get his lucky dog after all that. That's great.
While we've got 2 minutes here, we'll have a quick chat with Mr. Al Corey out on the racetrack in the playoffs, of course. Al, welcome in. Al?
I'm here. Hi, guys.
Hi, how are you?
A little upset.
Okay. Would you like to emphasize on that, or is this one of these James, please leave me alone scenarios?
I'm always happy to talk to you, James.
Oh, you're such a sweetie, Al, aren't you?
Well, I'm currently towing to the pits because somebody got loose and caused a wreck, and yeah, I'm going to be laps down. So I'm pretty disappointed.
Yeah, I think that was a difficult one. There was Tyler Ruella's was on his own. I think this is the problem, and he was running that that bottom line. Couldn't go high because Kyle Gretsch and Steve McClendon was running the high line to get out of the way, and then it kind of all sort of pinched together. And then people got squirrely and loose, and then, well, as you saw, the rest of it was absolutely history as well on that one. What are we going to go for, Al? What's going to come out of this at this moment in time?
I don't know. I was racing for stage points. I led a lap, and I was really looking for top 5 or 6 for stage points. Obviously, that's not going to happen. So now I'm just in complete recovery mode. Just try to scrape out as good a finish as I can. I've got to use my fast repair here, so I won't have one for later. So just have to try to scrape. If I could scrape out a top 10 at this point, I'll be really, really happy.
Okay, mate. Well, listen, Al, good luck, bud. Let's get that.
Thanks a lot.
Get that 45 back out there, and we'll see. We'll catch up with you a little bit later.
Yeah, that sounds great, and really, really happy to hear that you're going to be covering all 3 of our next-gen playoff races, so looking forward to it.
Yeah, it should be a good one, man. Looking forward to it as well. But for now, Al, take care, bud.
Bye-bye.
Right. So they are going to restart the race. It will be a restart after this one. The pace car lights are out, I believe, so we're going to restart and then stop again in about 2 laps time. It's going to bring them all together for the stage point situation here, Howie.
I might need to remember the rule. Is it going to stop a second time? Because I know
Yes.
if it comes quite close.
No, I've just confirmed with Matt Perezzini that they will restart it and they will stop on lap 30.
Oh, do you think there's going to be like knives out carnage for the stage win? Or do you think they'll just ride it around a little bit and wait for the reset? Because it's not really like a race-ending situation worthy of the big one, but still playoff drivers are going to want to see what they can get out of this.
Yeah, and they've got the 2 leading, I think, drivers, McClendon and Gretsch in the front end. I think Gretsch is going to want to try and get away and jump as much as possible. He knows full well he's not going to have long to get up the front, and I think this is what the situation will be. Obviously, it's 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, guys. That is a traditional stage point situation here. So we'll see how this one works out for these as they're going round now. Pace car's going to peel into the left-hand side very, very shortly. And then we will be running for about 3 laps. So hold on to your hats. This is going to go very, very fast, very, very thick and quick. And, well, Howie, who's going to get staged, do you reckon?
It will definitely be someone in this top 4. It's not going to be a complete outsider. There's not enough time to work it out. I'm going to just bet on Slaughter as a coin toss. We got a race to start.
All right, well, McClendon there took the lead, the whole shot. Ward Fisher in there, Slaughter in there as well. Gretsch can't quite decide whether or not he's going to come down into that lower line or if he's going to ditch the high line altogether. Harmon's still running the high line with a 37 in behind of Cameron Kane. He needs some help. 00 Goff, you got to get onto the back and push these boys along. McClendon leading this at the moment on lap 28 in about a minute and a half. We're going to find out who gets staged. Gretsch runs out once more on the high side. He's got help from Carl Dewey this time. 2 lines leading over the line for stage. This could be interesting.
Well, it looks like they are going to hang it too wide all the way. Usually you do give the advantage to the middle if it's just going to run like this all the way to the line. That start-finish line so far down. I wonder if Gretsch is going to stay up or whether he's just going to try and cannibalize that bottom. He's in control of his destiny here, but he is going to need a few more people, I think, to really set the pace as we see the 28 of Harmon dropping low, trying to make this move. My bet's dropped all the way off the back, but we have 3 playoff drivers in the top 3.
Yeah, 4 now. Gretsch, Stewie, Harman, Herzog. We knew this was coming. Harman's trying to keep him in that middle. He wants him in that middle. They're going to drop him out in the middle. That's Stewie going to get gone by the wayside on lap 29. Here we go, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, people of all ages, hold on to your hats because it's going to be a run down to the line. It looks like Gretsch might take it at this moment. Is he going to get the first of the stage points? Mark Herzog's in behind him in the 57, but it looks like Carl Gretsch is going to get it. He's going to go over the line this time around. It is Gretsch. It is Herzog. Oh, third one was a little bit touch and go there because Slaughter had a run down over that line.
Just consider this, though, my prophecy about to come true, yeah. 30 laps out of 80. We've had 3 cautions. That's a caution every 10 laps. We got 80 laps. I'm just telling you, all according to plan, it's rigged. 8's on the way. That was a pretty clean getting off. I really wanted that to not end in tears. You know, we're not even halfway through the race yet, but hey, they certainly scared us.
Yeah, but you can't count cautions as stage breaks. This is you know, unforced,
Third
isn't it?
caution, you know, third caution. It's a lot.
Yeah. What waffle on that one. Let's bring your stage winner in to the booth. Of course, one Mr. Carl Gretsch run outside line for the first part of it. Then he's got to the over the line and got to stage from second caution. Carl, welcome in, bud.
How's it going?
I'm all right, mate. How are you?
Oh, we're doing all right. I didn't realize that was going to be lap 30, so I was looking at my mirrors crossing the line, and then I saw the caution flag came out.
Oh, well, there you go. You 10 points on the board for you then.
Yeah, that's helpful. That means that we can hopefully be in the lead pack and get involved in a really cool accident coming across the line, and I'll still be hopefully the top point scorer.
Do you really want to get involved in a really cool accident, Carl?
I mean, what if it does really good in shorts?
Yeah, I suppose.
If you ain't first, you're last.
Yeah,
I want that marketing budget.
Yeah, I'll give you that one, I suppose, on that one. What is the plan going into this? Because, you know, it's Dega.
I don't know. I feel like I read these races somewhat okay, and I kind of like know where I want to be in this car specifically as I roll through my pit box. Still in forward in my pit box. So I like being behind people. I like being able to push because I feel like I can push really well.
Yeah. So.
But I don't know. Like it's just one of those things where you have to like know like exactly where you are in that exact moment, like coming across the line to know exactly what you want to do. So there's no like real game plan really. It's just kind of understanding what you're doing in the moment when you need to do it.
Just really quickly explain to people why you didn't just get stressed as hell there when you rolled through your pit box.
So I'm just a chill guy, as some of the memes say.
I agree. I think that's it at the end of the point. And to be honest with you as well, Carl, you're at Dega.
Yeah.
You know, anything's going to happen. But listen, bud, well done on your stage win. Congrats, and look forward to maybe catching you at the end.
Thank you.
Take care, man.
Peace.
See, that's the thing as well, I think, is being able to utilize mistakes to the point of where they don't bother. Because there are some drivers who would have head exploded if they'd rolled through their pit box. And Carl Gretsch just basically gives you a sort of an epiphany, a picture of what to be like when you've rolled through your pit box. You just go, yeah, it's Dega. And I think that's what more people need, Howie.
Certainly depends on the situation. I think if I did that under green, I'd be crying. But yeah, in a situation like this, everyone's going to be racked up again. We're just going to enter the meat grinder, torment nexus of NASCAR over and over again. So being a few places back, he says he likes pushing. If you like pushing, you know, make yourself the pusher around the back, actually.
He pushed McClendon rather well. So I would probably vouch for the fact that he could push rather well there for Carl Gretsch, so you know, fair play to him on that one, and yeah, great job from him as well. So pace car is going to be, where are we? Just going over the line. I do expect them to be lining up here. We're going to go, there we go, they are going to start lining up. We will be going green at the end of this. We've got 32 down, 48 to go. And at the moment, we're on caution number 3. 2 cautions that the drivers caused and 1 unforced, which was the stage break. So technically, we're on 3.
Well, I'm just looking ahead at the future races in the schedule. I think Talladega is a utterly wild place to put a 1 out of 3 playoff race, but it's a slightly strange set of tracks from that point onwards. It's Bristol, which is very different. It's sort of got that short track, but still fast vibe to it. And then we finish off at Texas. I think we have double-sponsored Texas races and back-to-backers. I'm responsible for bringing the Xfinity race, and let me just say that one might be explosive. That's a clue. So Texas is kind of the most normal track of the 3. Not my favorite, really, if you're going to talk cookie cutters, but it does the job at the end of a season. So got an interesting lineup. I think this is the wild card. I think you sort of just have to almost write off your points and just close your eyes for the whole race and just black out on the other end. Whatever points you get are the points you have. It's very hard to be in control of your own destiny, I think. So this will really rustle up the standings, interestingly, but the next 2 are where the real talent's going to come out, I think.
Tim Crawford's going to lead the way in the 4-4-3 with Herzog, Dewey, and McClendon, Harkin, Bradley, Goff, Harmon, Weeder, Slaughter. They're going to be all in there as we're going to be getting this underway. Crawford pitted on lap 25. To be blatantly honest, I don't really feel he needed to go in any earlier or later. Did he really need to go in on the other one? Probably just to top up fuel if he needed, but he's only been 5 laps. It's not really that dramatic. Here we go, ladies and gentlemen. Hold on to your hats, because it's going to be up and running. This is stage number 2, the straight sprint to the end of the race. And we are green, green, green. Tim Crawford got off the line there, out in front. He got a jump, but in about 30 seconds time, it's going to make no difference whatsoever, Howie.
You sort of don't want to be that far out, because then if the line behind you doesn't form, the one on the next lane up is going to leapfrog you very much. It's one of the only tracks where gaming the start doesn't really matter. He's going to be quite lucky here, as it's 2 packs of 3 that have sort of made a breakaway. That middle line run by Mark Herzog currently with the advantage. We'll see if anyone decides to jump in, but there aren't that many gaps to do it in, and he's already down again. It's interesting just how non-committal people are to their lines. I guess unlike on TV, there's no real teams, there's no real affiliate. You might have 1 or 2 friends, but otherwise everyone's out for themselves, very unlike the real sport. But I've been seeing a lot of indecision and people sort of picking their lane based on what's convenient. That sometimes just sets you back.
Yeah, the only good thing is the pack is back together, but then as I say, that Tyler Ruelas has somehow dropped right the way off with Crutchley, Barbary, Swissholm, and Corey, who is... Oh, Corey's actually in mid-pack, so fair play to him. Back out there, but Swissholm's there as well. But it is Tyler Ruelas, Crutchley, Barbary, and I believe there's one more attached to that. I think that's Rick Ellison and the number 42 of Mr. Jason Benson. He just needs to follow the line. Oh, that's not a good look as we go back up front and they're running 3 wide.
Sean Bradley has stood out as a very ambitious driver today, where he's always just made crazy moves to get himself near the front. He sorry didn't really work out for him last stage by the middle of it, but he certainly is no sheep running from a crowd. He wants to get up front. He'll do anything he can to get up front, and then as you see here, he'll just swing between whichever looks better at the moment. He'll just absolutely go with the flow. It's an interesting way of racing. It's working out for him now. Could lead to Rex, or it could just lead to a fantastic result. He's not in the playoffs, but a Dega win is a Dega win as he gets that outside line momentum for now on the top.
Yeah, he's going to get pushed along by Slaughter. Actually, Slaughter decides that, not pushing. I'm going to head down to the bottom and come away from that, but he did get a big fight from Carl Gretsch in that 27 machine. So we'll see what goes on now with these lines. We've kind of got two and a bit maybe lines running. You can see the middle 2 at the moment. Mark Herzog, he's been there in the 58, well, he's in the 78, but he's actually in the 57 machine, to be blatantly honest with you. And he's got, I believe that is the Taco Bell of the 00 of Alex Goff in behind him. So these guys working nicely together at this moment in time. As I say that, it looked like it was just about to go up on the high side.
You're running free wide the whole way down, and this middle line, as we see on board Alex Scott, nothing's really happening. So there was a unique dynamic where we have the busy low, the busy top, and the no man's land in the middle, where no soul dares to sit. It's not usually how this place is run. Usually the second line would be right up next to the first one. It leads to very weird dynamics. I think it's why people are line hopping so much. I think there isn't really that established sort of wall in the middle, so everybody's just sort of making up their own mind, and as a result, up ahead. I mean, almost it looks like they're going 4 wide in some places. It's really, really quite unpredictable. This reminds me of my NIS days.
Yeah, let's go off sitting in the middle behind Herzog there. Oh, here we go. See that first hand.
That's a wreck. I saw the smoke up ahead. I'm not quite sure who caused that or what that was. Oh, that getting just sent into the shadow realm, I think, there by the is that 45 of Al Corey sending Dewey out. Might have been Al Corey moving along. Who's in that 45 up ahead?
Al Corey.
If I could see Canadian Tire from a mile away, I know it's Al Corey. Not sure who moves into who here, but that's really the contact.
Ooh.
Really, it's Al moving down a lane there. So hard to hold the top. Get a bit scared of the wall, and well, now I guess now someone else might be upset.
Definitely was there for Mr. Corey and Mr. Dewey. So unfortunately for them, on that one, both involved in that. Right, guys, that gives us about 2 minutes while these guys drive around on a yellow flag. We're just going to take a quick break. We'll be right back in a minute. Okay, guys, we are back. Some news out of this one. What has just happened during this caution? Well, there is an end of line for Al Corey in that 45 machine. Well, on that one, no real surprise, Howie, I think, on that one after causing the incident and being a lap down.
I'm surprised that they would throw a mid-race penalty for causing collision. It's not typical of NASCAR, but this is their league and this is their rules, and it is a reasonable way to deal with these sorts of problems as they happen. I think a lot of hot-headedness can come around here. I actually have a confession to make to one member of the triple bypass community. I've mentioned his name already. This one isn't a joke like the last time either. Earlier this season, Elton Wu ended up with an end-of-line penalty after Nashville because of a minor spotted incident of passing under the yellow at Nashville. And I don't know if it was ever picked up upon, but who caused that one? Who reported that one? Unfortunately, it was me, and I was very bitter about being wrecked. I'm over it now, but I've caused an end-of-line in this league before, so I guess what goes around comes around. He might find a way to get me back one day.
Yeah, very much so. I still owe Cameron Kane a receipt as well for an incident in my first ever race where he was just apparently bumping me to say hello before we'd even gone over the start line, and he spun me round. So that was nice of him, but we are looking like they've filed in too wide once more here. Bradley out in front with McClendon, Harmon Gretsch in there, lap 40, fourth caution, lap 37, Dewey and Corey. Corey with the end of line. He is a lap down at the moment there for Al Corey, and that is Benson in behind. Well, he's in front of him in the track, so I do expect Corey to probably drop back a little bit more. But let's get this race up and running again, and we'll see if we can get probably round about lap 60, hopefully before the next caution if we can, but you never can quite tell. This is Dega. Don't forget, if you are here, say hi. Don't forget to like, subscribe, turn on the bells. That would be absolutely amazing, as we're in playoff 1 of 3 here currently. And, well, what an opening it's been as well. Who starts it at Dega? Well, we're going to Bristol next, and then we're going to Texas. 3 very different race circuits for these boys to drive. So let's see what goes on as they're going to come into view in the top right hand corner of your picture. There they are, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. Hold on to your hats, because guess what's going to come now? It's going to be green flag racing. Yes, once again, we are green, green, green. Bradley goes over the line first, in with Steve McClendon behind Carl Gretsch. Matt Harmon going to be picking their lanes and pushing these boys along, but let's see what goes on here, Howie. Another great start from Bradley, but McClendon and Gretsch working together again.
When I've called out Bradley really being a starring show in this race, but Gretsch has also been the other driver that's always been in the right place at the right time. Knowing the way Bradley's been driving, my theory right now is that he'll ride right up at the front, and it will end in tragedy in the last 10. And you know, I feel like some of this free spirit thinking is going to get out of control as the pressure cooker builds up. Gretsch has always just been in the right place. We haven't seen much of him do dramatic stuff, but he just is at the front of the pack when it happens, and in a good position to possibly claim a lot of playoff points. It's not a win in your in system, obviously. You don't have grand finale. It's just 3 races with the points reset for these drivers. So a win is nice. A win is worth a small bonus, but it's not the end of the world. But Carl Gretsch would love all those points, and he has put himself right out in the front to lead that bottom lane.
Important that you get points on the board. I think that's the thing, Howie. I think they've got to get points on the board out of these 3 races, and then you're going to be in with a good shout of possibly taking the win. And I think that is something that these guys are going to have to try and get. They've got to make sure that they can at least try and score points, and it's going to be vitally important that they do. Carl Gretsch there pushing along Steve McClendon again and doing a great job working alongside him. It's got to be points on the board. Surely it's got to be that for the 3.
I think he has absolutely been, consistently performing. But at this point, you get a couple points for leading these laps. But other than that, the stage is over, and it's all going to be about just trying to make it to the front by the very end. Gretsch says he likes to push, and well, we're looking on board right now, and he does continue to just do it. Got to get off the bumper of the guy in front eventually, as to not blow up your own engine. But I think he's doing the wise move here of not thinking, I can get ahead of this guy now, I can dive in front, because that's not really the game you're meant to play here. You're meant to play, sit here for as long as you can, weather any crazy storms, and just do your job on the straights. This is Talladega teamwork in action right now. They'll only really get the knives out at the end when it matters. Sean Bradley quite close behind, not really in pushing range, but again, it's wise for these first few drivers until a second lane forms, which it will. Until it forms, they just need to play their own game right now and not try and let their ego get in their heads and just sort of ride around. Eventually someone will get the idea to do a second lane and then we can talk about too wide, but for now this is quite sensible.
Yeah, the saying goes, you never push the pusher, partly due to the fact that you could hit him at the wrong point as he's pushing the guy in front, and next thing you know, you're going to absolutely rear end him into the guy in front. So you want to try and stay away from him as much as he can. You can see the front 5, 6, 7 breaking away or trying to break away from the guys behind. It's really tough on a draft track to be able to do this. You see the drop down there as well, and unfortunately that was Will Emmett. No one went with him, they all just ran round him instead. So for Will Emmett, unfortunately, he's looking a little bit lonely down there as well. For him, he's gonna have to try and get back up into the line, but the leaders currently absolutely dominating this with Steve McClendon and Carl Gretsch.
Well, these races become political after a while. You learn who are the drivers that you like to run with and who are the drivers that you don't, and very quickly you see someone lead a line badly, you think, I gotta get out of their way. You see somebody lead a line well and you think, I'm gonna run with them as long as possible. McClendon has just absolutely proven how to hold a line, how to put it in the right place, and how to, you know, be predictable and safe for people. And as a result, Gretsch is running in. Then Bradley is like, oh, I like what Gretsch is doing. So he runs in behind. And then, you know, everybody's quite liking what they're doing from the person in front of them. And as a result, that's why we're not seeing much discord. And the only people that do, maybe if like a McClendon pulled out a line, people would join in. But otherwise, they're going to stick with the person they trust.
Yeah. I 100% agree with you on that one. I think that's the thing. If Carl Gretsch is happy doing what he's doing right now and is safe doing it, it will continue to do it. Give him the last 5 laps, though. I can guarantee he's probably going to want to have a good go at him.
Well, that's a long way away, and even though we're looking at clean racing right now, you know, let's not talk about big numbers. There could easily be another caution somewhere because we're only looking at the cleanest drivers up front. There's way more tussling going on down back, and of course, the tiniest mistakes can lead to calamity. I mean, look back there. It's like the splitting image of like the good place and the bad place. This is the dog pound over here. We're fighting to the death.
Yeah, I would say that these guys are probably, if this is where the caution is going to come from, I think it could come from this pack of cars that are racing along. Tyler Roella's leading that bottom line here as well, and Mike Weeder leading the top line with Jeff Slaughter tucked in right behind, and the 78 behind that as well of Harcum. These 3 starting to break away. Another caution on that 47.
That could have been anywhere.
Oh,
that is
Mark
a
Herzog.
sideways car.
Yeah, Mark Herzog there. Where is...
Herzog is one of those cars I can tell from a mile away. He likes to run the distinctive one. It's also JC usually does that, but I don't think we'll see him on the field today.
Oh, Mark.
Where is he going? Where's he going? I am not sure at all. Does he ruin anyone else's race along the way? He does get out of the way, quite thankfully. That might have been a manual caution thrown, actually, for that one quite early on, because that could have anticipated the big one. That didn't quite happen, but I'm not really sure what his plan was.
Yeah, can't answer that for Mr. Herzog, unfortunately. They all do get running again, which is nice, but Mark there, fortunately, caution is out on that one, lap 48. So at the moment, they are happening, Howie. I hate to say it, every 10 laps.
I don't want it to be true either, because each caution adds like 5 minutes onto our race, and you don't want to look at the time in the UK right now. But yeah, now I'm starting to dread the inevitable, seeing that we're going to hit 50 with 5. You know what? Now I'm starting to realise that the pie in the sky might actually happen. I mean, will anyone make their pit stop now? They could. I don't know if you have fuel to finish. I think you might have fuel to finish from here if you save well. So a few drivers are going to go for it. But Lendon's going to hold it out front for now. He'll see if he regrets that on the next time around, or whether he quite enjoys this lead that he's inherited.
Yeah, Weeder, Slaughter, Harcum, Ruella's higher. all not in pit lane. So these guys have carried on. I don't really know the advantages of that. I think if they're going to... well, I'm not really sure what they're going to try on this one, Howie, to be blatantly honest with you, due to the fact that not going in, what's going to benefit them from not going into pit lane?
I guess it's hoping you get another caution and hoping that's your stop. But also, what's the marginal advantage of that? It's always hard as the leader because there's no one to follow. You know, if you're positioned back, you can sort of make a decision based on what you see. But if you're the leader and you have sort of a gut feeling and then you see everyone behind you goes wrong, go in, it's sort of like painful. Just thinking, oh no, I'm about to get sent to the back. We'll see if he goes for it again this time around, maybe now realizing that people are going for it. Or maybe the pattern holds true and he thinks the caution is so inevitable that he will just make it another run around.
Yeah, well, I can't tell you it's an EOL for car number 57 for causing the incident. So Mark Herzog will be at the back of the line. End the line for Mark for causing that wreck, Howie. Matt Perezzini giving out the old penalties.
And we just got out of the Qatar Grand Prix as well. I mean, like, we're going to double down here. I don't usually see it, that's all. It is an interesting dynamic that it adds. And I think you do need to... I think the thing that frustrated me last time I was here at Talladega was that the same couple people did it a few times in a row. I won't name names, but they certainly did have a knack of getting back up to the front and doing it again and again. So it is an interesting change of pace here. You've got to sometimes keep the league races in line.
Yeah, I think that's the thing. When you compare to real life as well, you know, you can get the driver can get a penalty if the pit crew is over the wall before he's entered into the box. It could be losing a tire. It could be the drill being in the middle of the pit lane. There's lots of penalties the drivers can cop, right? And I think Matt is probably just trying to do his best to keep it as realistic as what it possibly can. And, you know, end of line is better than him issuing a drive-through. I suppose that's an option on that he could issue, of course.
It's fair for Talladega as well, because you can, if you can make your way through the field here, certainly. It's just interesting that you never really see him come out for like racing incidents, but it is making people think a lot more around here, and I think people are going to get a bit more intelligent as the race goes on. So it's a different dynamic, but different doesn't mean worse by any means.
No, it doesn't, and I think that's the thing, doesn't it? As long as it keeps it nice and fresh and nice and open for them to continue and, you know, be able to race, I think that's probably going to be one of the main points that they're going to want to try and achieve here. And I don't think the RC has been, you know, the race control has been that horrendous. I think that's the thing. I think it's probably been far from it, to be honest, and Matt's staying on top of everything that's going on. So, and I can vouch that RC is not the most easiest job in the world either. So, Matt Perezzini, fair play to you for taking it on. That's all I can say about that, because it is not the most easiest job to be doing.
You got to give them credit no matter where they are. It's a very big, scary, overwhelming job where you sort of have to make a snap decision, and you don't get to go back on it.
No, and that's the thing. You don't have long to make a decision either. I think, you know, if it's been blatant, which is what we have seen, I don't really see it being any issues to call an EOL straight off the bat. I think on that one, if it is as obvious as what it has been, and you know, Matt Perezzini did cause that wreck, so, you know, politely suck it up, Matt, and get to the back and start making your way through again from our Herzog. So here we go, up and running once more, lap 50, green. Can we go longer than 7 laps before we get our next one? Well, let's hope we can, as they all start going over the line. McLennan there already on that bottom line, left on his own. The top line of Weeder, Harcum, Slaughter, Ruelas there as well. Melendon does come up. He tries to block them. He doesn't get any help. They just dive underneath him, Howie.
Wonder if he's trying to get away from that P1 and join a line. I say that, but he doesn't even get in front of Slaughter. He's going to be stuck in front of this 77 miles back. Maybe that was just a game plan here to just sort of get a bit further back. Some drivers do like doing that for a bar, but he ran so well in the last stint that I'm surprised. Or maybe he's trying to get up to his friend, the 27, now that I see him side by side and I realize it's all part of their master plan. It's a long race ahead.
Yeah, unfortunately, though, Carl Gretsch is laying down, you know, for McLennan to get there. He's going to have to dive across 2 lanes like the man who's on the outside of a motorway and wants to get off at the next junction and goes hurtling across all 3 lanes. Do you know what I mean? Let's be real about it. Takes his life into his own hands, but it's whether or not Carl Gretsch is going to be able to get near him to be able to give him that love and that help. Slaughter, however, in first place with Hyatt, Weeder, Kane, Harkin, Barbary, Fisher, Ruelas, McClendon, Gretsch and Harmon, who are further down. We've got 2 playoff drivers out the front. You can see Weeder running that high line there as well. He's left that middle line down as currently Mike Weeder. And that middle line led by Cameron Kane with Barbary and Carl Gretsch in there. I think you're going to get a little bit left behind at the moment if that top line cam straighting out, preferably out of the wall, and that is exactly what they were doing. But Jeff Slaughter taking the lead at the moment, leading the race for the first time, I believe, this evening.
It's a changing of the guard. Triple bypass gives bonus points for having led a lap, and a lot of people are going to take those points home today. So if you're a playoff driver, you want to at least get that once and then maybe get out of the way. And of course, the other drivers are competing for points as well, as Jeff Slaughter seems to deliberately drop back there. He wants to be right back in behind Weeder, and Hyatt doesn't want to run at the front for now, it looks like. He managed to get back in line quite well, though, and we'll see them run the same train as before.
Yeah, he's got to remember he's now 3rd in that train. He's not 2nd. You don't want to be pushing the pusher, and if Weeder's pushing, which we expect him to be here, the last things he needs is Slaughter coming in right behind him and giving him a push for good health. It's not an ideal scenario. Now, as the record goes, if it has gone in the way, we've got lap 10, lap 24, lap 30, lap 37, lap 47. So in about 3 laps time, Howie, we should have another caution here.
Would you look at which 2 drivers have made their way back up to the front again? It was prophesized. It's Lisan Al-Gaib, Gretsch and the 51 there have just pushed their way back up. It's a 151 at McLendon, and that one is so tiny on the side of the car. They're really throwing me off. They've made their way back up to the front, and they're playing their game again. They're not even working with Bradley because he joined the line just as before. If these 3 play a reliable pushing team, only one of them's a playoff driver as well, so it might not even end in violence by the end. I think these guys have a strategy, and it's to put Gretsch up in front to win this race.
Correction, no bonus points in this season, in this series, only stage points and race finish points.
You can't give away points for everything, all right? I guess you can't give them away for whatever.
Yeah, that's what I mean. You're going to have most overtakes. You can have points gained, places gained. You can have stage points, race points, fastest lap points. How many times you've taken the green flag points. You can have points just for turning up. You know, participation points. I don't know. Let's not overcomplicate the situation. Stage points, win points. That does for me on that one. And Carl Gretsch leading the way with McLennan left in behind him. Bradley pulls up, blocks the runner Weeder that's being helped by Goff. Weeder's continuing to try and run that high line. You can see Barbary on the inside at the moment. He's got Dewey in behind him, trying to push him along and try and help him here as well. They've got to try and find friends. I think that's the situation when you're in this kind of game, is you've got to find friends.
I think they have found the ultimate friendship, and that dropping back was definitely a deliberate ploy, and they made it happen. Now with Gretsch running up front and this pushing coming back in again, Fisher's sort of found his way into the situation, but that's okay for now as long as it doesn't get completely out of control for them. I think it's possible that the only thing that takes a possible win away from Gretsch here is, you know, a crazy incident exploding out of control. I only say this because most other drivers haven't worked out a dream team like this. There is actually another channel where some of the drivers have put themselves together, not these 2, but they've not had the absolute lightning efficiency that these three have. They're back at the front again, and I bet if they end up at the back again, you know, due to pit stops or something kicking off behind them, they'll be up there again.
Yeah, I think you might be right. That bottom line, it's kind of lost all momentum at the moment. Herzog had the EOL, is now made his way up into 6th place. But it is Carl Gretsch leading the way with 24 to go. Barbry's not quite sure that was the right idea for Barbary. I think I probably would have stayed in that pack a little bit longer before I made that move.
Well, you can't. The other dynamic of having this team in the field is they're not going to let everybody in, and you sort of potentially need to rebel a little bit. You might try and jump in now that the slot's been left open by Fisher, but it's this triple line running up the front. They've gone 2-3 wide behind. They've just killed the momentum around. It is 3 wide lanes behind. This is just going to give them the breakaway. You can see that gap. It's 0.2 of a second. It's the biggest on the field.
Yeah, unfortunately for Ward Fisher, it wasn't. Cameron Kane has dropped down to try and maybe give him a hand to pull him forward. Kane now has got Will Emmett in behind him. Herzog on that high line. He's got the 3-3-3. Resendez in behind that. And then we've got Patrick Swisshelm, one of the back markers, behind these guys as well. Ruelas makes clear this time, completely out the way, but that high line led by Gretsch, still with McClendon, Bradley, Barbary, Dewey, Goff, and well, not Cameron Kane, because Kane's on the bottom line, but up to Goff, and then you've got the 60 machine in behind them as well. That top line running well. Tex Nichols is in that 60 machine with Mark Herzog on the bottom there. So great job from all of these guys. I think 22 to go now. Are we going to make it inside the top 20?
I think we might see 1 or 2 more cautions as it goes on, but they have indeed calmed it down a lot. Ricky Barbary sort of going wild on the high side. I'm still surprised at seeing where these lines happen. This is not the usual place to run a line, sort of like a lane off the top. Now they swing wildly bottom. There's the next wreck. It's a big one. That's an upside down Herzog, and 2 more also collected.
Oh, Nichols into Kane. And then boom.
It's been a recurring theme of triple bypass this season across multiple series that whenever something happens, 1, it's always Corey, and then 2, it's always Nichols. Like, they always end up in it, you know, the horrible rotten luck. And I hate to say that my internal Nichols curse might have struck again there. Herzog on board, nowhere to go at all. Second time, and this one's a lot more lethal for him. I don't know if he had to use the fast repair the first time.
Well, that is what he sees, ladies and gentlemen. And then he flips himself. Does he come back over? He does. You can see Nichols is in the wall as well. Kane's in the wall. That was quite dramatic that time around. Let's see who we got involved. Benson went off track, probably trying to avoid it. Nichols, Ward Fisher, Kane, Resendez, Herzog, all involved. Swisshelm involved as well. Kane's jumped to the pits. Herzog's jumped to the pits. Swisshelm's jumped to the pits. Nichols has jumped to the pits. And then Angel Resendez has also jumped to pit lane as well with a very busted up front left on that machine. So a lot of people dropping out on that one and a lot of people being involved in that incident. Good luck, Matt. Let's see what you come out with on that one. I'm probably going to guess Tex Nichols EOL.
Oh God, it's 6 cautions with 20 to go. I promised I didn't cheat. I didn't rig the system, but this is all because when you think about green-white checkers, it could happen. And then ain't that the sadness?
20 to go here as well. Number 60 EOL. There we go. Tex Nichols. So there we go. I was expecting that one to come through. Unfortunately for Tex, looks like he might be. He might be out of the race anyway. But Mr.
Roll
Nichols.
it on to the next one. If that's the case, if they roll that over, then he's essentially out of these playoffs completely because, this is a DNF, there's another DNF, and it's sort of over. You don't really make it back up on the back of that.
Well, it's a good job that he's not in the playoffs then.
I get him confused with Slaughter for some reason. I don't know why. They blend into the same person sometimes in my head because Slaughter's the one in the playoffs.
Yeah.
Still a very sad way to spend 2 races. Bristol is a track where you really can't make your way up the field through muscling and pushing. You really sort of need to work very hard. I don't know how they apply those penalties. Probably by saying these words, and we're going to hear the correction at one point and work out whether that gets carried over if they retire. But it's Bradley and Gretsch up front again, it looks like.
They are at the moment. Sorry, I'm just trying to look for somebody else here. I wonder if I've got... Do I have time? Is the pace car light still on? With Sean Bradley, who is leading the way. There's a couple of back markers in the way there as well. So we'll have a chat with the number 48 after, see if we get another caution, and then I'll pull him in and have a chat with him. There's a couple of, as I said, back markers. I think that's Rick Ellison in the front, and not Michael Seymour. Who is that running behind him? What number are you, sir? The 091. So that's Rick Ellison, and in front of Rick is the 05, which is James Dewar. So they're going to get told to get past the pace car very, very shortly to allow us to get back up underway. 19 to go. Where's the drama coming from, Howie?
Sort of coming from everywhere, but if there's one thing I'm noticing, it is that the same few drivers are at the front of the pack every single time still. We're going to be led by the same 2 again, but it's all a bit further back behind where drivers are getting feisty and they're sort of moving around each other a bit too much still, and they're not really playing the super speedway game, and it's sort of just leading to these back after back after back nightmares.
Yeah. It definitely is. And we are, as they've gone past there as well, pick up on Sean Bradley, who's going to be behind the leader. Is this going to be chaos? Is it going to be sensible racing? Are we going to get to the end? Are we going to stay where we are? What is the situation going to be for the next 18 laps? Well, ladies and gentlemen, you don't want to go anywhere. Make sure you got your drinks. Make sure you got your popcorn, because I can tell you now that it's going to probably be somewhat hotter than a Vindaloo in a curry house here, Howie.
That is exactly the sort of 3 a.m. comparison I would pull to. I mean, we getting the Brits on the late night Talladega races. Every caution is just another like 10 minutes added to our night before we get to go to bed. That's the eternal misery of it all, actually. But yeah, they're gonna just push their way through this. But I think the pressure cooker, as I like to call NASCAR races, is going to blow up with about 5 to go. That could be a disaster.
I think so. I think so. Right. So waiting now for the 28 and 21 might get on pack. 23 is definitely not going to get on to pack before they start. So that is Patrick Swisselm. Could get swallowed up here. He's still got a little bit of time. And we'll see what goes on that one. Mark Herzog, I've had confirmation, is out. Unfortunately for him, I'm probably guessing that there is no more fast repairs remaining. Car's going to come into your picture in the top right-hand corner. Boo-hoo, Howie, says Matt Perezzini in the YouTube chat. Fair play, Matt. Give him grief.
He has a harder job than us. Potential. Nah, we've got a good job. I'm going to say I respect our job and that our job is worth a lot, and we've got a lot of energy to put into this one as we go green.
Yeah, Bradley takes the green flag again. Herzog is, not Herzog, sorry. Carl Gretsch is alongside him. He's got Dewey pushing him along this time with Alex Goff in there in a 00 Taco Bell machine. Bradley with McClendon with the 405 of Will Emmett in behind that. And now this is where we're either going to have a nice gentle run or we're going to have fireworks. Which way do you reckon it's going to go?
Well, I know who's going to be getting in line with each other very, very soon. I think those three are going to be pretty safe from fireworks from each other, but everybody else is going to be really moving and shaking now to try and get in. Now, Dewey here has worked out the game. Gresh going in to join his team on the line, and Dewey tries to drop down with him. There's a bit of movement left and right to try and get him off the tail, but it's not going to work. There's an intruder in the ranks.
Bradley decided, they did sell Dewey short.
That's good moving, but now they've just lost they've lost McLendon. He's stuck between that Taco Bell car of Goff, but he's going to have to try and get his way back in. He can't get into the space in time because Barbari's going to take it up. They're going to need to reform this real quick. Well, really, Gresh is the VIP here. Everybody else is an accessory to the playoff driver getting through to the end. So maybe it's okay going down like this, but you just saw there the way they moved around to just get anyone that isn't part of the clique out of the clique. Oh, a little bit of bump into the corner. Could have taken out his teammate for a big one there.
Yeah, Carl Gretsch, Bradley. Then we've got Dewey and Barbary with McLendon, and then Harmon. Here's your top 6 free playoff drivers in the top 6. Crutchley's just outside, then Hyatt, Corey, Slaughter further down there, and then behind Slaughter, of course, we've got Michael Seymour. 15 to go now, ladies and gentlemen. This is where it's all going to get very, very hot and heated. And how is this one going to work out? Well, let's see on that one. Oh, the 05 car has got a start line violation for changing lanes before the start-finish straight, before the start-finish line.
That's a triple bypass rule. They are very strict on you passing or on changing your lane before the start-finish. Oh. They like to enforce that, as was almost all going terribly wrong, and it's Dewey up front. He's a playoff driver in this set, so he doesn't want to play these team games. Maybe he's worked out the strategy, or maybe he's not, but he wants to be a part of whoever's pushing. We've all worked out that 27 of Gretsch is one of the best pushers on the field, but he does not want to be pushing a rival here.
See, Nodge on the inside on that 48. We're wrapped up behind Carl Gretsch. We've got Dewey in front of us there as well, who needs to keep it straight. Gretsch will push you all day, but unless you're going to keep it straight, he can't really do a lot about it. The bottom 3 are now working together. McLendon in there, and obviously Will Emmett and John Crutchley. So going to be very interesting to see who takes this victory here. Who gets this one early on? Is it going to be Carl Gretsch? Do we think he's got it in him still, the victory away?
I think if he ends up with his teammates, this is his, but Dewey is really absolutely aggressively holding that lane. This is I wondered if they were going to be fireworks. You wondered if it was going to be fireworks. I said they weren't going to be. I think Dewey and Gretsch coming together could genuinely be the piece de resistance to tip off this drama-filled race. It looks like it could go wrong every corner.
Yeah, it doesn't help that Dewey is not straight. Holding line is not Dewey's strong point, and at the moment they've dived away from him. Bradley's come with Gretsch. Dewey's now trying to get him involved in that one to move himself down. He can't at the moment. There's been a split at the front as well, taking up the middle lane. We've now got 3 lanes. We've got 13 to go. Will Emmett on the 405 there, who has unfortunately got Mariah Carey on the front of his bonnet, which I'm not quite sure.
It is December. Why. She is defrosting, it is time.
Oh, don't. My daughter's been playing her song every morning, unfortunately. Mind you, my daughter's only 7, so, give her a break.
You gotta let her get away with that.
Yeah, I do. And, she's been playing Mariah Carey, All I Want for Christmas Is You, every single morning, generally at about 7 a.m. So that's nice for me, but Will Emmett has got it on his car there, tucked in behind Nodge. I'm not quite sure he should have come off that lane, but there we go. Ryan Hyatt on the high side as well. Gretsch tucked in behind that. Bradley losing it. He left a car's gap. If anybody wants it, you can probably look at taking that gap away here, because there's now 2 cars left between them. I am surprised he left that much of a gap.
I think everybody is sort of getting a bit of tunnel vision right now. This big team that was set to dominate this race has broken apart. Playoff Challengers has just jumped in left, right, and center to disrupt. You can see the 27 getting pushed by the 77 again and bumping right into Ryan Hyatt, who now controls the field. He won't be the last race leader, though, as Gretsch looks to make that move. 77 can't make the move himself, but the 151 behind with Harmon can set up that lane. Oh, these playoff drivers are going to come together, and it's going to be ugly, I think.
Well, let's hold on to our hats, ladies and gentlemen. Let's see if we can get to the end. We're going to come over the line with 10 to go. We're going to find out in about just shy of 10 minutes what's going to happen here if we can keep this running as it is here currently. Gretsch on that bottom line. He's got Harmon separating him from McLendon at the moment. On the high side, we've got the number 3 of Ryan Hyatt, Sean Bradley in behind there as well. Carl Dewey in behind him from the pink machine. And I got a funny feeling it's all going to be very, very interesting indeed.
And it really is going to explode in fireworks here with 4 out of 5 of these playoff drivers hanging around in the front. Bradley has an agenda in this field as well. He is absolutely not just in. Well, he'll take a win for himself, but he's been playing for the benefit of somebody else along the line. So they're going 3 wide further back as well. So momentum isn't really going to be able to build. Pressure's going up and up and up and up and up, and with 5 to go, it will look scarier than with 10, and then it will just get scarier, and then something horrible might happen.
Yeah, they ended up 3 wide because they kicked out Higher out of the group, unfortunately for the number 3. He got left, and unfortunately for him, he just, well, down the order he goes for Ryan Hyatt, because when you're out in that middle line, you do kind of get left on your own. Al Corey back on the lead lap in that 45 machine. Wasn't overly happy when he came in and spoke to us earlier on, but you know, he's got the rights to be a little bit more happier now.
Well, he was unhappy because he had burned the fast repair early, and if you burn the first fast repair early, the next wreck will take you out. But he's not been involved in one since, and that has sort of let him get away with it. There's work to do if he wants to end up at the front, but every position is a point, and I'm just seeing this yellow compress at the top of the standings. These are our best drivers. They've earned their place here by winning all through points, so they really are, you know, the cream of the crop here, and they are going to fight it out to the very end.
Actually, is in there. Corey is in there. Nodge is here, of course, in that 48 machine. Sitting currently in 6th place, up 14. The biggest gainer is Ricky Barbary currently, because Ricky is on our outside here. We look to the right, there is Ricky in the 04 machine, just black 04 machine there, and you see in front we've got McLendon there on that bottom line. 7 to go. We're going to get spicy. When are we going to get spicy, Howie? Are we looking at 5, do we reckon, or do you think we might even be able to get it in the end?
It's already a little bit scary, to be honest. If you're asking when the next caution might fly, that's pure gambling at this point, and I wouldn't put my money on it. But I think these drivers are becoming a little bit animalistic. The front of the pack has changed a lot here now, with Harmon running up at the top and Crutchley coming back into play. So Gretsch has kind of left this field, and he's left his teammates. He's behind a few people he's left for dead earlier, so this top field will press away. I think the rest will come back though.
Yeah, they are 3 wide further back, almost 4 wide second pack back. Oh, that's Hyatt, Dewey, Barbary.
That is 4, and I'm amazed they're not wrecking. It looks like it is, though. Shouldn't have said the words. That's Corey again, kicked off by Crutchley. I can also see Fisher in there, and a couple more. We are going to go on to 7 out of 8.
He's going to be gutted. He was doing so well.
I told you, it's the Alcor. We got the curse for Nichols. We also have the Alcori curse. He's usually one of our strongest drivers here, but nothing good has happened to him very often in triple bypass this season. And this is just another day that's going to be so frustrating after making his way back.
Yep. He's going to be highly annoyed. I'm going to leave him well alone.
You sure you don't want to pull him in?
No, definitely not. No.
You know best. You know best.
My life will be over. So definitely not. I don't want to be pulling him in at any point. I'm going to leave all the playoff drivers alone currently to see how they get on. We've got 5 to go. So we'll have to see what goes on here. I'm just going to reach out to RC, who is typing at the same time I am. So, yeah, see when we get under. Yeah, Matt Perazini, netcode, racing incident, and 4 wide.
And I don't think that's the last 4 wide we'll see, because we are going to get very close to a green-white checkered when we come across the line.
Yes.
What could possibly go wrong? What could possibly go wrong, James?
25 car wreck starting at the front.
I mean, did you watch either of the real races at Talladega this year? Oh, at least see the biggest wreck in NASCAR history, I believe, happened.
Yep. And I've also watched some others at Dega, and there's a lot to be desired for, but the problem is then these cars do not generate as much downforce as what people think, okay? So when you take a knock on the rear quarter, it doesn't matter what side it is, you're going to punch off at an absolute rapid rate of knots, because as soon as your airflow is interrupted in any shape or form, under the car or over the top of it, it's going to put you up high or put you up low, and you're going to shoot off like a rocket, Howie. I think that's the thing here. People just turn around and go, pack racing, turn left, full speed. If only it was that simple.
When we're talking about the aero on these cars, a little bit of spotted trivia is that these cars are basically the V8 supercars with added steps. Very similar. Both series have been massively influenced in their last generation by the sort of way that they're a bit more aero-like. These are more like sports cars than stock cars. The Xfinities are more like your classic stock cars. These have evolved into some more aero-heavy beasts, which means they do act very unusually around here. I know some people who might as well get degrees in fluid dynamics with how much they know about how the aero flies over these cars. It really can just change the complexion of things when you almost have like a force field. You just get to push people aside via mere thought.
That's the thing, I think. The closer you are, the faster you go. So I think for these guys, they've got to be as close as they possibly can be here to be able to get these, to get this start line going. We're going to be going after this lap. We're still in race time, so we've not hit the GWC as of yet. We have got 3 of them here.
Do they run 3?
Yes.
Oh man, I raced the triple bypass league where they run 2. 3 is a whole new dimension of fear.
Well, that's the thing. He's got to give them an opportunity. But we are, as we say, still in race time. We have not got to the end of race time to cause it, but let's see what goes on and how they get on here as well. Just got to keep an eye on ILC at the same time. So let's see what happens here as well. You're going to find out in about a minute and a half if we're going to make it to the end, or if there's going to be more cautions here once again. Natural GWC at this point, which is what was expected. So just confirmation on that one, Howie, being that we're still in race time.
Oh, that means time for even more of them. If it goes up to 9, I think I'll be madder than ever. Huge credit to the league for finding a way to make these next gens work. In the past, they're very, very unpopular. But with the introduction of the unique race format, which I get they don't want to run for everything, but is awesome as a one-off, and the custom setups. They have a setup shop making a fixed setup for this series that is way better than whatever horrible thing iRacing poops out every single week for you to do in the fixed series. Which resulted in a real upswell of support for these. And they do like to change their cars around every season. I don't know what will go. I don't know what will leave. I think the street stocks will be out. I want the mini stocks to be in. But regardless, I think these have a long future here. I think the league has found a way to make people really love them. And this format is keeping us excited to the end.
Yeah, absolutely. Right. Hold on to your hats, ladies and gentlemen, because this is going to be very, very interesting. They've only got to go round to get onto the white flag, okay? And then there's no cautions after that. But here we go. Once more, the cars are coming over the line. We're going to see the pace car do this funky left turn. It's already done some of it. It's drifted down into the pit lane. Here we go. Harmon, McClendon, Smith and Crutchley, your front three. Toodling, toodling, toodling. There's the restart zone there. Green flag. We're going to be going racing once again. Here we're free to go at Talladega for the Stay Puft 80. Sponsored here as well. Let's not forget that one. Big shout out to the driver sponsor here this evening who has been doing this. That is Mr. number 42, Jason Benson, who has not had the greatest of races. But 2 to go on this one. Are we going to hit the final lap, do we think?
The way I see these guys move, I think it's very possible. And if that's the case, Dewey has lucked his way into a great... Well, luck is probably underselling it, but he's come into a really good place here as a playoffs driver. And McLendon's going to lead this pack, but all these playoffs drivers that were compressed at the top, they seem to have dropped to the back now.
Benson, who has been nowhere at all for the whole race, your race sponsor is on the outside line being pushed by Goff. White flag. White flag. Here we go. Hold on, guys. We're going to find out in about 50 seconds what's going to happen. And at the moment, the race sponsor, who's popped out the middle of nowhere, literally like an undercover ninja, is leading the race with half a lap to go. That bottom line trying to work together. Carl Gretsch trying to get a free line working as well. Here we go. It's going to come down all to this now. Final corner coming out of turn 3.
That push is incredible.
Benson needs a push. Bradley's there. McClendon's there. Gretsch, Harmon, all there as well. But it's going to be the run down to the line. Is it going to be Bradley? It looks like it is going to be Bradley. McClendon's going to be in there. Bradley's trying to cover him off as we go over the line. McClendon goes sideways. Bradley takes the victory. Oh!
The big one, perfectly timed. The team that has been working together all race do put it off, but not in the way that helps the playoff standings, more like in the way that suits personal pride a little. The only other next-gen race I've commentated for this league was one dominated by Sean Bradley. He didn't come away with the win, but he's come back this time to claim a great Talladega win. We do it all. You love to win it no matter what happens.
Yeah. Got to win, Dega. And there is Bradley. He got the run, made an absolute amazing run. Slight contact going to be coming up from that inside line. That shoots McClendon across the nose there of the 28. I believe that is Matt Harmon, but Bradley comes over the line. It looks like the 610 by the 42. So I think Nathan Smith maybe have got that with Benson, but the only way we're going to know that one is we're going to look back at the race results and let's see who took the victory. Well, here we go. Sean Bradley got it from Nathan Smith with Jason Benson in third, today's sponsor. Matt Harmon in fourth, Carl Gretsch, Steve McLendon, Ryan Hyatt, Alex Goff, Carl Dewey, Ben Arkham, Tim Crawford, Jeff Slaughter, Will Emmett, Ward Fisher, John Crutchley in 15th, and Elton Wu, Tyler Ruelas and Al Corey does get 18th place. Michael Seymour, Rick Ellison, Ricky Barbary, Mike Weeder, Patrick Swisselm, Cameron Kane, Tex Nichols, all out, Herzog out, Resendez out, Dewar out, and Mike Brown, who went out with 10 laps gone on that one. Great ending to a race. Massive shout out to Sean Bradley.
Oh, I'm glad they kept it done clean. I'm not going to count crashing over the line like that. It was well and truly done. I really thought they were going to force a green white checker, but they did work it well. That team, I thought somebody would be there at the front to take it at the very end. I was sort of doubting Sean at the start, saw him form up that 3-car train, and I knew that like one of them was going to find a way. Love the side-by-side running to the end. All the gloves are off, but if you run side-by-side at Dega, the middle will win over the line. But it's had its ups and its downs. It's had its chaotic racing. It's had its race. Some of the racing here we'd like to forget. But I think the work it took to get that group up to the front over and over again also shows some of the best of this track, and also saw what it takes to succeed. It's not just blind luck.
Yeah, let's have a chat with today's winner. He's in that 77 pink liveried machine, Mr. Sean Bradley. Sean, welcome in. How are you?
Yeah, I'm feeling pretty good after that. How are you?
I'm all right, mate. I just watched great racing. I've watched some great teamwork. I've watched some zero IQ driving. So I've seen a bit of everything.
Yeah, it was kind of a mixed bag, huh?
Yeah, absolutely. How was Hal there for you?
It was good. I really loved that middle lane. That seemed to be my bread and butter through the whole race. I felt like I can control things there. You know, I felt like I got bogged back at the very end there, being on the inside line. I didn't want to be there, but I managed to keep the bumper on Steve without killing him and pushed him through, and then did what I did.
Definitely did as well, and it was a great run all the way through on that one, and great run getting it to the end, and I think that's the thing, isn't it, for anything in this kind of series? You want to make sure you at least finish. You're not in the playoffs, but does it give you an extra edge to sit back and go, I beat you a day ago and I'm not even in the playoffs?
A little bit, yeah. I like to play spoiler. You know, ain't I a stinker?
Well, yeah, you've got to, haven't you, at the end of the day? But listen, Sean, great victory here at Talladega. Anyone you want to shout out before we let you go?
Yeah, big shout out to everybody in this series, and I'm sorry, who sponsored this one again? I don't even.
Jason Benson.
Oh yeah, big shout out to Benson then, man. He's a man, and everybody else that was keeping it clean up in the front. That was some great racing.
Yeah, awesome job. Well, Sean, thanks so much for joining us there, bud, and look forward to seeing you next time out.
All right, you too. Cheers.
Oh, hold on. Let me just make sure there as well. Let's see if we can have a chat with Nathan Smith, who was nowhere to be seen during the race. We don't even remember even mentioning him once. But somehow he's come through. Another driver who's not in the playoffs and takes second place. Nathan, welcome in.
Hey, what's up?
How was it?
Yeah, it was good. I was just sitting in the back, like you said, the whole race. And then, you know, last 10 laps made a charge and it wound up working, so.
That's the thing. The two people that were at the back were you and Benson, and we didn't see you at all. And then you come through taking second and third. So your strategy worked. You managed to avoid the 7 wrecks or 6 wrecks that we did have. You know, explain to people just how tough Dega is, because yes, it's full flat. Yes, it's turn left. But how tough is it?
Yeah, it really comes down to a strategy sort of race. You know, there's a lot of luck involved, of course. It's Talladega, so you really need to be lucky in avoiding the wrecks. But at the end of the day, the last 15 laps are the only laps that matter. In my opinion, I wasn't going for stage points or anything like that. I just wanted to win. You know, it's my first race ever here in the NextGen Cup side of the Triple Bypass Racing League. So I was just here for a win. And I came up just about 15 feet short. So, really good day for me, and I appreciate all the guys out there that raced me clean and well. So, yeah, it was a good race all around.
Yeah, it definitely was, mate. And, you know, well done. Well done. If it's your first race in this car on this circuit, fair play to you as well. So thanks so much for talking to us. Anyone you want to shout out before we let you go?
I'll shout out everybody on the Bad Luck Racing team, wherever y'all are out there. Have a good night, and I'll see y'all around. Thanks for having me.
Oh, man. You take care, Nathan. Well done, bud. I was going to have a chat with Mr. Benson, but he gone.
Sometimes your interview targets run. There have been a points update. Kyle Gresh leads the playoff field with the 47 points. If we take away the 2000s, Matthew Harmon in second with 42, and Kyle Dewey in third with 35. So some early movements happening early on in this field.
Yeah, all right. Well, we'll have a chat with Matt Perezzini again. Jason Benson's done a runner on me. Matt, how was it for RC for you?
It was fine. I mean, it was a typical Dega race, in my opinion. I mean, there wasn't a lot of, wasn't anything real exciting or anything like that. I mean, the 4 wide was a little bit interesting. Usually 4 wide doesn't work at Dega, but and it didn't. But overall, it was good. Race control. The biggest problem is that Dega is not usually a hard one to do. Next week's going to be a lot worse because we are at Bristol next week.
I'm looking forward to Bristol. Maybe it's just me and short tracks. I think short tracks are awesome. Are you going to bring anybody in with you, Matt, or are you going to still fly solo and hope for the best?
No, I'm flying solo on this deal. It was just after the Michigan race, I just felt that I couldn't be an admin and be a racer at the same time. So I wanted to make sure these playoffs went off without a hitch, and so I decided to pull myself out of respect for my competitors and making sure that we have the most fair racing for the playoffs, because when the points tighten up like that, it's a totally different ballgame.
Definitely is, and we're going to go from a 2.65 mile circuit down to a half mile.
Yeah, yes, we definitely are. I just did the testing on the custom setup. We just got it yesterday. The race setup, if fresh tires, we were running 14.5s, so it is going to be lightning quick.
And how many laps you got booked in for that?
We'll be 200 laps.
Oh. I do love a good bit of Bristol, Matt, as well. You never know. I might say get covered in the booth and come and have a drive. But there we go.
The setup, I also, just so you guys know, when we did the testing earlier today, works really well on the low side and the high side. So we should have some pretty good racing.
Okay, well, looking forward to Bristol next week there as well. Matt, thanks so much for joining us there, bud. Anybody you want to give a shout out to, Matt, before we let you go?
Oh, just, just a shout out to the league, and thanks for Benson for sponsoring, and, thanks to you guys for doing the broadcast. I mean, it's really cool to have our playoffs broadcast, and, we've only got leader's only got a 5-point lead currently, so anything can happen. It's still anybody's game at this point.
Absolutely. I do fully agree with you. Matt, thank you so much for joining us there, bud, and look forward to seeing how Bristol goes.
You bet. I'll be up in the booth again, so if you guys need to chat, I'll be there anytime.
All right, man. Take care. Right, Howie, sum it up for us in a sentence.
Well, that's Talladega for you. It's going to be a fun week next week. I'm not terribly used to Bristol. I'm not terribly well made out for it myself, but it produces a very different kind of racing. All 3 of these tracks are totally different styles. So it's going to really test people. If you feel like people get lucky here, you can't get lucky at Bristol.
No, I love Bristol. Oh, do I go on? Never mind. Stay away from the circuit, James. Stay away from the circuit.
Let me just run the show. I'll hop in.
Yeah, right. Don't forget, guys, as well, we've got 5 nights of racing taking place at the Triple Bypass as well. Sundays, NextGen, Tuesdays, Late Model, Wednesdays, Drive Clean, Thursdays, Xfinity, and Friday, Road Racing and Street Stocks. That will change going into next season, but we can give you a rundown of what we run for this season. Head over to triplebypassracing.com, and that will be absolutely amazing. Obviously, big shout out to today's race sponsor, the number 42 machine, Mr. Jason Benson, who come through the field with Mr. Nathan Smith. We didn't see any of them for the whole race until they come over the line in second and third. So, oh, excuse me. So there we go. But for now, guys, that's going to wrap it up. Thank you so much to everybody who has joined us. Don't forget to like, subscribe, turn on the bells. That would be absolutely amazing. I've been James Parfitt. I've been alongside Howie Burroughs. And as always, take care. Have a great week. And you never know, we might see you on the track sometime. Good night.